Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I want to do some ugly paper crafting. Hopefully we can do some ugly paper crafting. And I want to revisit this card that I did for the Pinterest inspiration collaboration for April. It opens up like this if you didn't see the video. It's really quickly. It's a real quick video. But I want to try this with some ugly paper. So let's get the paper out first. Alright, so here are the sheets of paper that I'm going to think about cutting up or destroying, and we're going to be using this orange paper because I pulled out 3 different colors: orange, pink, and blue, and the orange is the only paper that I didn't cut up yet, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes as well. So here's the paper. Now this would go great, and it could be like a Halloween color. See, I think that would be good as a little the triangle piece. So that's something that to definitely think about in the making of this. Let me go ahead and pull out a template and see. So we definitely can do this. The only thing is, this is not how it's really designed to be. But if we even did this side right here, where we just cut this piece out, that would be great because we would only go over a little bit. But let's look at the back just in case. And see, the back is not that bad in my opinion. The back, we could actually do the front of one side and the back of another, but if I'm going with the Halloween theme, then that may not work out for us. Now this is just crazy. I like the circles, but it's really crazy. And then this, this isn't too bad of a ugly paper. I also have this one, so we can definitely do like these little dots, because these are like some funky designs which are really cool. But I think I'm going to try these Halloween sprinkles first and see how we can go from there. This big circle reminds me of a rotary phone, so I'm going to pull this off really quickly, and this will be another determining factor for us, this little piece right here. Okay, so the paper that I originally wanted to try, this side was too short for what I need. I need to be 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the actual measurements of the card. So what you need to do is you need to take your 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and score it down the middle. You need to score it at 4 1/4 and 5 1/2. Once you score it down the middle, this is where I struggle. So please, if you don't struggle with this part, then good for you. But I struggle with this part. You need to take your seam, and my paper trimmer that I have currently using is not large enough for this. And I even think the demonstrator shows that it wasn't, hers was, you have to curve it a little bit. But you want to put your tips in the center of your cutter. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the bottom portion first, which I have my tip directly in, so I can do the top or the bottom, but I have my tip directly in this tray because I want it to be even. And that's the problem that I find with these funky shaped cards. Sometimes it's not always even. So what I did was, you see where these two lines intersect is really a good place to know where you're going to be cutting it, because you really want that to be like the center focus. And then you can adjust your tips, because you really want to cut that tip, that corner, directly in half. You do not, if you cut it off, then one card is going to have to go in the trash, or you have to cut it, use something else for that. And see how it's just giving me a hard time, this paper folding. And even though it's the same exact thing, I'm just going to try it on this side, because I don't want to beat it up too bad. But I have my center piece, my line, you can see my little line in the center, so I'm just going to adjust that as best as possible. And here we go. And then what I did on my last card is I just kind of turned it over once I got it going. And I move this, because this is cut now, so you just move that out the way. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And you just make sure that you cut it properly, just like that. And so that's what I did. All right, so while you have your paper trimmer out, I would suggest that you go ahead. Did I cut it off? No. You go ahead and cut your piece. You're going to need 2 pieces of paper. Now, this is the thing that's really funny. So if you have your paper like this, what I did to make sure that all my pieces fit properly is I turned it over. Don't ask me why. I just turned it over because I felt like it would go on the paper better. If I take this and cat-corner it like that, it just didn't cut right. It didn't cut the proper measurement, so I just turned it over, which I probably could have just changed the angle on the other side. And you line this up again, just like that. Once you get the corners all nice and neat, just like that, cut away. Okay? And if not, if it doesn't work out, you have some more paper. And then while you're at it, like I said, go ahead and take your white piece of paper, whatever you're going to cut in your card base. Now, we're going to make this paper 4 inches by 5, because we want it to show a little bit of the white, the orange, as the layering piece. So here we go. And you know, I really don't like cutting up my coloring paper too much, but that's what you do. And then I'll move this up so you can see what I'm doing. So I have it at the 5. So you really could do it at 5 1/4 if you really wanted to. But I'm going to do it at the 5 just because. And I always try to figure out how to waste less paper when I'm cutting this up, because you know, you have those little strips. Little strips are okay, but I tend to cut every time off crooked or whatever, so it seems to always be a problem. It's always off. All right, and if I cut paper properly, then we should be able to get 2 cards made. And then you have this little strip. I always leave these to the side because I can make banners with them later on sometimes. Okay, so now that you have your pieces creased or whatever, you can fold them over. Use your bone folder to get a good crease down. And before you do all that, make sure your tips touch the tip. You know, they butt. You want them to be creased really nicely. So here we are with that one. So we did cut it fairly well, which I'm super excited about. And then we have this piece right here. All right, and then we just crease that as well, which is good for us. And since we actually got it right, we're going to go ahead and fold this piece as well. Some paper will fold over a lot better. You see this is off a little bit. So this page is a little bit longer. And I don't want to say it's me because, you know, I think the paper, some of these discount papers or value packs or bulk papers are off in their measurements. Just a little bit. Quality control, right? And I'm just going to snip it off. I'm going to try to adjust it as much as possible. Let's see if adjusting it will work. And I'll be right back. Alright, so it's just still a little scotch off. So I'm going to take my scissors and clip it off. I'm not too concerned about that. But if you are concerned, you know, you can go and cut more paper if you like. Whatever makes you happy. It's your creation, not mine. Alright, so now I'm going to flip these over. I really like for when I have odd shaped cards, I like for the creases to, I like for them to fold both ways, very nice and neat. Because people, whenever they're looking at these cards, they're like, how'd you do? You know, they're not asking you because they may not be able to ask you, but they're looking like, how was this done? And they're folding the card. So I like for it to be a lot easier to fold over. That's just me though. You can do however you like. The one thing I will not do, because I did put and I came over here, came to the desk to do something else. I won't put a top piece on because I left it. Like I didn't bring the, what is this? I didn't bring the oval punch over, so we'll see how that works out for us. Okay. And this is pretty odd shape in my opinion. It's an odd shaped card, right? So this is it. Like this is all you really need to do. So let's go ahead and do some paper piecing together. Now, when I told you to do this backwards, I'll show you why I decided to tell you that. Because you see how it is now? That's why. It's so funny when you cut it the wrong way, it will not do it properly. And I've had this problem with all of the cards I've ever created. So you can make your card do this if you need to, and it works fine, right? The good thing about this is we didn't put the white piece of paper in yet, so I'm not too concerned that it's on the wrong way. And if you really want to get creative and go along with this ugly paper, you could do that, but we're not. We're going to keep this just like that, and I do need to cut some more paper. And I like that these colors are so oddball, weird, that they will coordinate great together. And now I need to find something to put to tie it together. Okay, so I have some of these that I cut out on the Scan and Cut already. And I'm going to just take this sheet, which matches these other colors, and I'm going to punch out a circle punch. And I'm going to just match this up like that in the middle, which I really don't care for it. I prefer it to be the same exact shape. So let me see if I have my smaller circle punch or larger circle punch at the desk. Okay, so I ran through a few scenarios in my head, and I was like, okay, we're going to leave this. We have inked it up with some wild honey because it looks orange a little, right? Let's see. It's the spot. And I took a stamp that I have that says, "Where flowers bloom, so does hope." Lady Bird Johnson, and it comes from a magazine, one of the creative stamping magazines that I own. And so the only thing that I was thinking that I did not include on this one that I did on the other one is the layer piece, the actual two-piece layer. And I'm going to just not be so lazy and go get the actual stamps, but I think I'm going to get the a different shape. I think I'm going to do the stamp size. All right, so we're going to go ahead and glue this down, and we're going to glue this down, not tape it, glue it down, because it's so much safer for me at least. All right, and so if you really wanted this size, you could do this on this card. And there you have it. If you really wanted those two colors to go, but we're going to do the not so pretty side because this is an ugly paper creation. I do hope that you all like the oddness of the dots, but see the beauty in them as well. As many of you stated in the comments about the papers, not that the paper's ugly, it's just so much going on. And I do agree, but I think with all the designs on it, it's just so over the top. I'm quite sure, that's why I was at a discount store, I'm going to play glue chicken over here and leave that glue lid off because I'm crazy like that. And we want this over here. The good thing about this pattern is that they do line up so well together. And I'm going to take my bone folder and just push the glue out as best as possible. I don't want to put a lot of glue on because it will warp the card. I haven't found, I know a lot of people recommend different glues, but I haven't found any glue that doesn't bow the paper yet. So if you know a glue, leave it in the comment section below and I may give it a try. I was looking for some of the Turbo Tacky glue by Aleene's recently and I couldn't find any. Make sure you get those chips as best as possible. So you may want to use some adhesive if you feel like wet glue is not your thing. Go ahead and use some wet glue. All right, so now we go with this. And here we go. And there we go with that. Okay. And again, with the wet glue, you can put it on kind of wrong and just kind of manipulate the paper down to where you want it to be. which is always great for wet glue. Never go on your crease, so you want to make sure your paper is not on your crease. I know this is coming out kind of yellowish, but trust me, it is orange. It's definitely Halloween-y orange in my opinion. And it's too bad I couldn't really find a good Halloween color, because we could have put some pumpkins or something on here. No, I'm not rushing into the holidays. You know, I'm just using the ugly paper. And did we line it up almost good? Yeah, we did pretty good. I'm shocked. Yay. All right, so now I'm going to, let's see, did I put a big dot right there? What y'all think? Leave me a comment in the comment section. I know sometimes you all agree that the thing that I choose is a good thing to do, but I feel like it's just so naked. Like, it's so naked. But what I want to try to do, I did cut these out on my, this thing right here, punch. And so I cut a few shapes out because I was like, Brandy, it's so plain. And again, all these papers coordinate because it comes from the same paper pad. I got this white one, and I was thinking that we could just do this. Orange should be on the top, Brandy. Let's move that white one out the way because it's just messing it up. Now the pink is a little bit out there, so I could do 2 orange layers. No, I'm going to stick with the pink, I think. A little contrast never hurt anyone. And do it just like this. And put that flower right there. So I think that's what I want to do. We're going to go ahead and do that. And I usually, whenever I just watched a video about someone making embellishments, and they said when you'll have them on hand when you need them instead of trying to make them on the spot. And here I am making this one on the spot. I think sometimes when we make embellishments, we kind of go overboard, and it ends up being much more of a space taker up than it's convenient. So I'm gonna put that there, and I think I'm gonna try to find a black centerpiece to go there. But here we go. And we don't want this to be any kind of centered or in a good position. We want it to be kind of offset so that we can see our sentiment. And then whenever you get ready to apply your second layer, make sure that you turn it some. You don't want it to be right on top. Just like that. And then here we go with the last piece, which is the orange piece, which hopefully ties it all in together. And then let me get a little centerpiece and put this on the card. Okay, so I'm not sure if this was a hit or a miss with the ugly paper, but we're going to stick to it, and I am going to use some more glue, but this time I'm going to use this Tumbo glue, and I'm going to just put it right on this little black dots. And you don't want to put glue on your whole entire project because it will seal the card up, and we don't want to seal our card. This card took a lot longer than I wanted it to. And I went around the petals and I just kind of made them not match. And it says, where flowers bloom, so does hope. We have hope for this ugly paper. Let's go on to the next card while this dries. I'm going to go ahead and glue the white piece in and come back with the next one. Okay, so we are working on the second card. I have punched out the first little oval scallop piece. Looks like this, and then I have these pieces already cut out. So it's going to actually fold like our original card that we did for the collaboration. And then I am going to punch out this in green. So hopefully these color combinations and all this other stuff will marry up fairly well on here. This green is a part of that. So it's going to look like this. But I'm going to do something a little bit odd, I guess. I'm going to distress the edge with orange so we can't forget about the main character, which is the orange, I guess. Hopefully it doesn't mess it up too bad. Let me know in the comment sections how you feel about this ugly paper. I think that this is, you can't even tell, it's like dots, right? All right. Okay, so what I have given up on is finding the white piece to show you all how I did this part right here. Because I can't find what I want. I have some other ribbon, but I don't think it's going to coordinate with it. And I don't want to open a new one because, yes, it won't coordinate. I don't want to open up a new one because it's a mess to open it up. So my little one is awake now, so I'm going to try to do this really, really quickly and see if we can't do it really, really quickly. All right, so if you notice, this is not the exact same side as this is. I cut it the right way, I guess you could say, and that's how it came out on this one. So what I'm going to do is just glue this down, and then we'll put everything else together. Okay, so we have this together. Now what I'm going to do is I stamped out a different sentiment. It says Bloom, Laugh, Grow. I'm going to glue this down together really quickly with the Tombow glue. And I use my scrap paper. I did some swatching on this, so this is the opposite side. And I'm just going to put it in what looks like the center to me. And since it says Bloom, Laugh, Grow, I'm going to use these little flowers that I cut out a while back to do something with, and it never came to fruition. So these have funky colors on them as well. And since we have this crazy paper, why not do some funky colors, right? So we're going to put that right there. I'm going to do this one first, this little green one. Turn it. All right. That one may be flat. Hopefully it's not too flat. And then we're going to take this and put it on there. We're going to do some green. And this one's a little more calm versus the other one that we just did. And we're going to put that on there. Just like that. And I'm just going to press down on it. And now, what I want to do, I want this to open this way, so I'm going to put glue right here. That probably was a lot of glue, but it's okay. And I'm going to put this right here. And I'm going to apply some pressure. And I'm going to just burnish all this together. Same thing with this. All right. And now that we have this like that, I'm going to pull this up a little bit. Let's see. I may need something a little bit smaller, like these scissors. And even if you're going to put it in a card, it's going to be flat, but you can give it some dimension. And if the recipient is a paper crafter of some sort, they'll know to pluck the flowers up, right? If not, then it will just kind of stay flat. And if the person watches, if you make YouTube videos and they watch you make it, then they'll know how to pluck it up. And I'm going to find a small little jewel to put in here. So let me do that. Okay, I can't find a jewel that I want, so I'm going to have to go into the little bling stash and get that later. I did take some washi tape and, don't mess it up. Took some washi tape, a strip that I had left over, and these are like little leaves. I thought that would be cool, and I inked the edges up. And we're going to just put that inside of here like that. You see the ugly poking out, but it's a cute card. I like it. I like that this is kind of like not a normal pattern that we would probably use. But when you look at it, it's not an ugly card at all. It's very pretty, in my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And the person would open the card like this, and then like this, and it would have a saying on the inside, some type of sentiment. Bloom, laugh, grow. I think I overdid the glue on that one because it's kind of folding up, but that's okay. And I probably could have moved this down to like right here so it wasn't on the B. And the same way with this one, I could have moved this up a little. See, I could have moved it up a little bit, but it's okay. And so this is the complete opposite. But I like them. And again, the inspiration was a pen, and I'll link that video in here. But this is the original card that from the pen. I love that color blue. This blue is so pretty. So that's how they look. I actually put white pieces on the inside. They are blank though. Thank you all for watching. Leave a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you think about the ugly paper. And did we do it justice? Until next time, happy crafting.